November 1942, Germany. Hitler was looking at the map, North Africa map, Alamein region. Red marks showed German positions. Blue marks, British forces, Montgomery's forces, and the blue marks were advancing. Every day, a little more westward. Rommel's forces were withdrawing. Hitler struck the map. Why is Rommel withdrawing? What was my order? Stand your ground, at the cost of death. But he's withdrawing. Keitel spoke carefully. My leader, Rommel, reports fuel and ammunition shortages in his report. If he doesn't withdraw, the army will be encircled. Hitler angrily. Excuses? Rommel is showing weakness. Montgomery sees this and continues advancing. But Hitler's anger wasn't just military. There was a deeper anxiety. In his eyes, fear. Because Hitler knew Montgomery's advance wasn't just a military matter. It was a psychological matter, a political matter, a matter of control. If Montgomery couldn't be stopped, others would be emboldened too. The Allies would become more aggressive, the Germans more doubtful, and Hitler's control could crack. This is that story. The story of Hitler's fear of losing control after Montgomery's advance. The story of the danger of military defeat turning into psychological collapse. Before we begin the story, please subscribe and turn on notifications. It helps us reach more people with these forgotten stories. And leave a comment. Tell us where you're watching from. Now, let's get back to the story. Summer 1942, Hitler was confident. In Africa, Rommel was winning. Tobruk had fallen. The Egyptian border had been approached. The Suez Canal was visible. Hitler, at a propaganda meeting to Goebbels, victory in Africa is near. Rommel will enter Cairo. Suez will fall into our hands. The British will lose the Middle East. This will be the war's turning point. Goebbels took notes. My leader, should we announce this in public? Hitler, not yet. First let's win. Then propaganda. But Hitler's confidence wasn't baseless. Rommel was genuinely successful. The British had been defeated repeatedly. Africa had become a German propaganda poster. When Hitler looked at the map, he saw Africa in red, German control, and this made him happy. August 1942, the British appointed a new commander, Bernard Montgomery, 8th Army Command. German intelligence reported, Montgomery is a methodical commander, new to Africa, but conducted successful training periods in England. Careful, planned. Hitler read the report. His first reaction, contempt. New commander, inexperienced. Rommel will crush him. But when the staff, Jodl, my leader, Montgomery, might be different. Previous commanders acted hastily. Montgomery appears patient. Hitler, patience doesn't work in Africa. Rommel is fast. Patient commander loses. Hitler didn't take Montgomery seriously. This was his first mistake. End of August, Rommel attacked Alamein. Classic tactic, fast flank attack. Encircle enemy with panzers. But Montgomery was ready. Defense was strong. Minefields. Tank destroyers. Rommel's panzers stopped. 2 days Rommel attacked. Failed. Fuel ran out. Withdrew. Hitler, when he received the report, was surprised. Rommel withdrew? Why? He never withdraws. Report. My leader, British defense was stronger than expected. Montgomery seems to have predicted Rommel's tactic. Hitler worried. Did Montgomery read Rommel? This was a new situation for Hitler. Previous British commanders couldn't read Rommel, but Montgomery was different. October 23, 1942 night. By Montgomery's order, 1,000 guns fired. El Alamein attack began. Hitler received report on October 24th morning. The British started a large-scale attack. Artillery fire, tremendous. Infantry and tank advance. Hitler sent message to Rommel. Stand your ground. No withdrawal. El Alamein must be held. Rommel replied, my leader, British superiority is very large. Artillery count, tank count, air power, all superior. Defense difficult. Hitler, still hold. Nothing is impossible. But inside Hitler, a doubt began. Could Montgomery really be powerful? October 25th, General Stumm, temporary commander, died. Rommel urgently returned from Germany. When Rommel arrived at the front, he assessed the situation. Montgomery is different. Previous commanders were hasty. This one is methodical, everything planned, advancing step by step. Rommel sent report to Berlin. My leader, Montgomery, is serious threat. His advance is slow but sure. Counterattacks ineffective. Our casualties increasing. Hitler was uncomfortable when he read the report. Why is Rommel talking about Montgomery? Enemy is just enemy. No need to give names. But Hitler's discomfort was deeper. Rommel was calling Montgomery a serious threat. This hurt Hitler's pride. November 2nd, Rommel sent critical report. My leader, situation critical. No fuel. Ammunition depleted. Heavy casualties. Withdrawal necessary. Otherwise, army will be destroyed. Hitler became angry when he read the report. No withdrawal. Rommel will obey orders. Alamein will be held. Fight for every inch of ground. Message sent to Rommel. No permission to withdraw. Stand your ground. At the cost of death. Rommel, when he received the message, was shaken. At the cost of death? But the army is already exhausted. Rommel tried one more day. But November 3rd, it was no longer possible. Gay withdrawal order, despite the leader's order. November 4th, Hitler learned Rommel had withdrawn. Hitler shouted at Keitel, Rommel didn't obey orders. I said, stand your ground. He withdrew. This is insubordination. Keitel, my leader, Rommel says in his report, he withdrew to save the army. Hitler, save the army or save himself? Rommel lost his courage. Montgomery scared him. But Hitler's anger was hiding something else. Fear. Because Hitler knew if Rommel had withdrawn, it meant Montgomery was really powerful. And a powerful enemy couldn't be controlled. Hitler, when alone, thought, Montgomery will continue advancing. Libya, Tunisia, maybe Europe. This could start a domino effect. November 1942, Goebbels met with Hitler. Topic: how to explain El Alamein to the public. Goebbels: my leader, the public is talking about El Alamein. They're asking, did Rommel lose? How should we answer? Hitler: not defeat. Strategic withdrawal. Rommel moved to new defense line. Goebbels: but British propaganda says Montgomery defeated Rommel. What will the public say to this? Hitler thought. Then, minimize Montgomery's name. Say the British force with numerical superiority. Say Rommel made honorable withdrawal. Don't make Montgomery a hero. Goebbels understood, but asked, but if Montgomery continues advancing, the public will notice. Hitler, then minimize Africa. Say Africa isn't important. The real war is in the East. This was Hitler's tactic. Hide the truth. Control with propaganda. But Hitler knew if Montgomery couldn't be stopped, propaganda wouldn't be enough. November 1942. Goebbels met with Hitler. Topic: how to explain El Alamein to the public. Goebbels: my leader, the public is talking about El Alamein. They're asking, did Rommel lose? How should we answer? Hitler: not defeat. Strategic withdrawal. Rommel moved to new defense line. Goebbels: but British propaganda says Montgomery defeated Rommel. What will the public say to this? Hitler thought. Then, minimize Montgomery's name. Say the British force with numerical superiority. Say Rommel made honorable withdrawal. Don't make Montgomery a hero. Goebbels understood, but asked, but if Montgomery continues advancing, the public will notice. Hitler, then minimize Africa. Say Africa isn't important. The real war is in the East. This was Hitler's tactic. Hide the truth. Control with propaganda. But Hitler knew if Montgomery couldn't be stopped, propaganda wouldn't be enough. November-December 1942, Montgomery advanced in Libya. Tobruk fell back into British hands. Benghazi fell. Every report worried Hitler more. November 13th report. Rommel abandoned Tobruk. Montgomery is pursuing. Hitler, Tobruk, It was a great victory in June 1942. Now gone. Montgomery took it back. December 20th report. Rommel is abandoning Libya, withdrawing to Tunisia. Hitler looked at the map. Red marks were withdrawing westward. Blue marks were pursuing. Hitler to Jodl. Montgomery can't be stopped. Every day, advance report comes. How is this possible? Jodl. My leader, Montgomery, is methodical, not rushing, but determined, and resources unlimited. Hitler shook his head. His not rushing is more dangerous, because he's not making mistakes. Rommel is waiting for mistakes, but Montgomery isn't giving any. November 1942 to February 1943. Bad news on two fronts. Africa, Montgomery advancing. Rommel withdrawing. East, Stalingrad besieged by Soviets. Sixth Army trapped. Hitler was following both fronts, and two fronts fed each other. When bad news came from Stalingrad, Hitler thought about Africa. If Stalingrad falls and Africa is also lost, what happens? Double defeat. What will the public think? What will the army think? February 2nd, 1943, Stalingrad fell. Paula surrendered. 91,000 German soldiers, prisoners. Same week, Rommel withdrew to Tunisia. Libya completely lost. Hitler received both news together, and inside a feeling, control is slipping. February 1943, Hitler's circle was anxious. Goebbels wrote in his diary, "The leader is tense." Stalingrad in Africa affected him, normally decisive, but now I see indecisive moments. Speer, armaments minister, in postwar testimony. In early 1943, the leader changed. Previously, he'd find solutions to every situation, but after Stalingrad and Montgomery's advance, he started doubting more. Bormann, secretary, took notes. The leader often talks about Montgomery, says this English general is different. Rommel can't stop him. Hitler's circle felt something had changed. The leader was in fear of losing control. February 1943. Rommel attacked American units at Kasserine Pass. Successful. Americans were inexperienced. Pushback. Hitler, when he heard this news, temporary hope. Look, Rommel can still win. Not Montgomery, but Americans, they're weak. But hope was short-lived, because Montgomery supported the Americans. British forces pushed Rommel back. Early March, Rommel back on defense. Hitler understood Kasserine was an exception. The general trend was still withdrawal. March 1943, Rommel returned to Germany, to present report, and meet with the leader. In the meeting, Rommel spoke frankly. My leader, Africa is lost. Tunisia can't hold. Resources insufficient. Withdrawal necessary. Hitler became angry. Withdrawal again? You always talk about withdrawal. Did Montgomery scare you? Rommel. No, my leader. But we need to be realistic. Montgomery is supported with resources. Ours are depleting. Hitler. Resource excuse. Always the same. No resources, no fuel. But is there will? Rommel remained silent, because he knew the leader didn't want to hear the truth. After the meeting, Rommel never returned to Africa, assigned other duties. Hitler removed Rommel from Africa, because Rommel had become defeatist. He was acknowledging Montgomery's superiority. Hitler couldn't accept this. May 1943, Tunisia fell. 250,000 German and Italian soldiers surrendered. Hitler, when he received the report, said nothing, sat for a long time, looked at the map. Then to Keitel, Africa is gone. Montgomery won. Rommel lost. Keitel carefully. My leader, resource insufficiency. Hitler raised his hand. I don't want excuses. Result matters. Montgomery took Africa. Now what will he do? Will he land in Italy? Sicily? Keitel. Intelligence reports both possibilities. Hitler. Both possibilities are bad, because Montgomery can't be stopped. He's now a hero. The British will glorify him. What will we do? July 1943. Allies landed in Sicily. Montgomery was commanding in eastern Sicily. Hitler received report. Montgomery in Sicily, advancing toward Messina. Hitler anxiously. Montgomery is now in Europe. Not Africa, Europe. This is dangerous. August, Sicily fell. September, Allies landed on Italian mainland. Hitler knew Montgomery was now at the door. From Africa to Sicily, from Sicily to Italy, then maybe Balkans, maybe France. And at every step, Montgomery's name was mentioned. Propaganda was making him a hero. Hitler to Goebbels. Erase Montgomery's name from media. Don't let the public hear it. Otherwise, fear will spread. Goebbels. But British propaganda is strong. Our public listens to BBC. They hear Montgomery from there. Hitler. Then counter-propaganda. Say Montgomery is lucky. Say numerical superiority is a success. Say not genius, just resourced. But Hitler, deep inside, knew propaganda wouldn't cover the truth. Early 1944, intelligence report. Montgomery returned to England, taking role in D-Day preparations. Maybe Allied ground forces commander. Hitler, when he heard this news, was shaken. Montgomery D-Day? Is he planning it? Report. Yes, my leader. Montgomery is responsible for military planning of Normandy landing. Hitler to Rommel. Rommel, Montgomery is coming. You know him. How does he attack? Rommel, Montgomery is methodical, plans ahead, calculates every detail, doesn't surprise, but advances with sure steps. Hitler, how do we stop him? Rommel, on the beach, in the first 24 hours. If he passes the beach, he can't be stopped anymore. Hitler thought, Montgomery was like that in Africa, step by step, never stopping. Now, he'll do the same in Normandy. June 6, 1944, the landing Montgomery plan took place. Normandy. Hitler received morning report. Allies landed in Normandy. 5 beaches. Large scale. Hitler's first reaction. Is this the real landing? Or diversion? Maybe they'll land at Pas-de-Calais. But as the hour progressed, the report became clear. This is the real landing. Montgomery is commanding in Normandy. Hitler understood. Montgomery succeeded again. Successful in Africa. Successful in Italy. Now in Normandy. And inside Hitler, a feeling. Control is definitely slipping. June-July 1944, Montgomery advanced slowly, but surely in Normandy. Hitler requested daily reports. What is Montgomery doing? Where? Reports. Near Cannes, advancing slowly, but non-stop. Hitler to Rommel. Why can't you stop Montgomery? Rommel. My leader, resource difference is too large. Air power, tank count, ammunition. Everything is with them. Hitler, resources again, always the same excuse. But Hitler knew the truth. Montgomery was superior not just with resources, but with strategy too. July 20th, 1944, assassination attempt. Stauffenberg detonated bomb. Hitler survived. After the assassination, Hitler became more paranoid. And interestingly, he started mentioning Montgomery more often. Montgomery is advancing. Inside, traitors are staging coup. Outside enemy, inside traitor. I'm besieged. Goebbels tried to calm Hitler. My leader, traitors were cleaned. Control is yours. Hitler, control? Montgomery is advancing in France. Paris is in danger. Is this control? In Hitler's mind, Montgomery had become symbolized. Symbol of external threat. Symbol of unstoppable advance. And symbol of loss of control. August 25th, 1944, Paris fell. Allies entered the city. Hitler, when he received the report, remained silent for a long time. Then, Paris. Symbol of victory in 1940. Symbol of defeat in 1944. Keitel, my leader, defense was impossible. Resources. Hitler, resources. Again resources. But the truth is, Montgomery showed strategic superiority. I didn't. This was one of Hitler's rare open confessions. He was acknowledging Montgomery's strategic superiority. September 1944, Montgomery launched Operation Market Garden, planned for rapid advance to Germany through Holland. Hitler, when he learned of the plan, Montgomery is moving fast. This isn't his style. Haste makes mistakes. Indeed, Market Garden failed. At Arnhem, British paratroopers were encircled, withdrew. Hitler, when he heard this news, smiled for the first time in a long while. Look, Montgomery made a mistake. He can be defeated too. Hitler made big propaganda of this small success. Montgomery isn't invincible. Arnhem showed this. We can still win. But deep inside, Hitler knew Arnhem was an exception. The general trend was still Allied advance. December 1944, Hitler decided on the last big gamble, Ardennes offensive. Hitler to generals. Montgomery is advancing from the north. Americans from the south. We'll split them. Belgian ports. Montgomery will be thrown into the sea. Generals were doubtful, but Hitler insisted. Montgomery escaped at Dunkirk in 1940. In 1944, he'll escape again. We'll repeat history. December 16th, Ardennes offensive began. First days, progress. But then, American resistance hardened. Montgomery provided support from the north. Offensive stopped. January 1945, Germans withdrew. Hitler's last gamble failed. March 1945, Montgomery crossed the Rhine River. Operation Plunder. Deep advance on German territory. Hitler received report. Montgomery crossed the Rhine. Approaching Ruhr region. Hitler no longer reacted, just looked at the map. Silently, his circle was anxious, because Hitler wasn't talking anymore, just looking. Speer in his memoirs. March 1945, the leader had changed. When he heard Montgomery cross the Rhine, he said nothing, as if he had surrendered, but not officially internally. Why did Montgomery create so much fear in Hitler? Reason 1. Unstoppable advance Montgomery, starting from Alamein, advanced all the way to Germany for 2.5 years nonstop. Hitler couldn't stop this. Reason 2. Methodical success Montgomery didn't make mistakes, except Arnhem minor. Every step was planned. Hitler waited for mistakes, but they didn't come. Reason 3. Propaganda effect Montgomery became British propaganda icon, the man who defeated Rommel. Hitler competed with his own propaganda. Lost. Reason 4. Psychological superiority Montgomery was calm, determined, methodical. Hitler was nervous, variable, intuitive. Psychologically, Montgomery was superior. Reason 5. Symbol of control for Hitler. Control was everything. Montgomery's advance symbolized loss of control. Every advance news cracked Hitler's control. What place did Montgomery hold in Hitler's psychology? Became obsession. After 1942, Hitler often talked about Montgomery. What is Montgomery doing? Where is Montgomery? Saw as rival. Hitler perceived Montgomery as personal rival. He's methodical. I'm intuitive. He's patient. I'm hasty. Symbol of loss of control. Every Montgomery advance reminded Hitler of loss of control. I can't stop him, so control isn't with me. Projection. Hitler projected his own weaknesses onto Montgomery's strength. He has resources. I don't. But truth. Hitler made strategic mistakes. Let's say Rommel stopped Montgomery at Alamein, or D-Day failed. Scenario A, Alamein, German victory. Rommel defeated Montgomery at Alamein. Africa remained under German control. Hitler's reaction. Did you see? Montgomery was defeated. I was right. Control is with me. Hitler's confidence increased. But on other fronts, Stalingrad still lost. Eastern Front still collapsed. Result, Africa victory wouldn't prevent general defeat. Scenario B, D-Day failed Montgomery's plan. D-Day was stopped on beaches. Allies withdrew. Hitler, Montgomery defeated. Dunkirk repeated. I won. But in reality, Allies would try again in 1945. and would win. Result: in every scenario, Hitler eventually loses. Stopping Montgomery could have given temporary relief, but the final outcome wouldn't change. Was Montgomery really the main cause of Hitler's defeat? No, not the only cause. Eastern Front had larger casualties. Strategic mistakes, two-front war, wrong resource distribution, Allied superiority, industrial capacity, air power. But symbolically important, Montgomery symbolized unstoppable power for Hitler. Every advance showed Hitler's helplessness. Psychological effect: Montgomery's continuous success broke Hitler's confidence. After 1943, Hitler was less decisive, more paranoid. Hitler feared losing control after Montgomery's advance, because Montgomery was an unstoppable force. Started from El Alamein, Libya, Tunisia, Sicily, Italy, Normandy, France, Belgium, Holland, Germany. For 2.5 years, never stopped. And Hitler couldn't stop him. Every news gave Hitler the same message: control isn't with me. And for a totalitarian leader, loss of control meant death. Hitler committed suicide on April 30th, 1945. Montgomery didn't reach Berlin, but symbolically, he was in Hitler's final thoughts. If this story affected you, please hit the like button. Every like helps us reach more people with these forgotten stories. If you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications. Write a comment. Your thought: how does loss of control affect leaders? Thanks for watching. Remember, control is an illusion. Real power is an adaptation. History lesson: control is not absolute. Every leader eventually faces forces they cannot control. How they respond determines their end.